Hello everyone. Today's video is on the questions on probability. We have already discussed the basics of probability, on which I made two videos in order to make you understand the basics. And when we discussed the basics, we took three cases. One was the case of flipping of a coin, another was rolling of a dice, and then it was playing cards. Alright, these are the three things. And with the help of these three things, we try to understand different types of cases which can be formed and how to make use of the concept of probability. Now, what we'll be doing here is we'll be going a step ahead than this, and we are going to take a look at different types of questions, not only pertaining to dice, coins, and cards. We're going to have a look at different types of questions. So these questions will include a logic of geometry, number system, and so on and so forth. Okay, but the concept to calculate the probability remains the same. That is, probability of any event E is nothing but number of favorable outcomes divided by total number of outcomes. So we're going to stick to that formula only, nothing else. All right, let's try and understand each and every question. So if you have understood the basics, then you can pause the video and you can try this question one yourself. If you haven't, then try and understand how I'm solving a couple of questions, and then you can start pausing the video and you can start solving the question by yourself first. All right, so let's begin with the first question. So let's say what it says. It says that from a group of 5 managers J, K, L, M and N, 2 people are randomly selected to attend a conference in Las Vegas. What is the probability that M and N are both selected? What is the probability that M and N are both selected? Now, first of all, I'm going to calculate my total cases or total ways in which you can select 2 people out of 5 people. So if you want the total number of ways in which you can select 2 people out of 5 people, that will simply become 5C2. That will simply become 5C2. Okay, because you want to choose 2 or you want to select 2. I hope you remember the basics of PNC. Whenever you want to select, that's like combination, so that will become 5C2. Now they're asking us regarding the probability that M and N are both selected. Now if I think about this logically, if I want to select M and N, can I say there is only one case in which I have to select M as well as N? There is no other possibility, and I'm only selecting 2 people, so that will be only one case that both M and N are selected, right? So your probability for this event E will simply become 1 divided by 5C. So that will become 1 over 5 factorial by 3 factorial into 2 factorial. So this will become 1 divided by 10. So that will simply be 1 by 10, and that's your answer. Simple question. Okay. Alright, let's move on to question number 2. So pause the video and try this one. Alright. So this one is an interesting question. Okay. Let's try and understand. A bag consists of 3 differently colored socks, which includes 3 white, 4 green, and 5 red. If 2 socks are picked randomly from the bag, what is the probability that both the socks selected are not red? What is the probability that both the socks selected are not red? Now this is a very important statement. Both the socks selected are not red. Let's suppose, let me give you an alternate statement to this. None of these socks selected are red. So think about the moment. Think for a moment, and is there a difference between these two statements? Think for a moment and answer yourself that is there a difference between these two statements? When I say both the socks selected are not red and none of the socks selected are red, actually there is a difference between both the statements. Let's start with this none one because this seems to be easier. When you say none of the socks selected is red, that means you don't want any red sock. You don't want any red socks. You don't want any red socks. This is basically what it means. You don't want any red socks. The statement which is on the left, which says both the socks selected are not red, this basically means both socks can't be red. Both socks can't be red, which means one can be red. Which means one can be red. Which means one can be red. This is the difference. This is the difference. In this one can be red. It says both can't be red. When I say none of the socks is red, that means both can't be red. This is the difference. Okay. So how can we solve both the cases? So let's solve them separately. So for this one, the one which says both can't be red, I'm gonna do 1 minus when both are red. 1 minus the probability when both the socks are red. The reason being is that if one of the socks can be red, so I'll have to form like multiple cases. One red, one black, one red, one white, one red, one green, one white, one green. Both can be white, both can be green. I have to make all those cases. I don't want to do that. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to calculate the probability when both are red and I'm going to subtract that probability from 1. I told you in the basics of probability that probability of something happening is 1 minus probability of something not happening. Is 1 minus probability of something not happening. So this will simply become 1 minus now total number of ways in which you can select 2 socks from 3 white, 4 green and 5 red. So that's like 12 socks. So total number of ways of selecting 2 socks from 12 socks, it will be 12C2. It will be 12C2. This is the total number of ways. You're selecting 2 things out of 12. That's 12C2. For both red, it will become 5C2. For both red, it will become 5C2. It will become 5C2. So it will become 1 minus 5C2 by 12C2. This will be the answer to actual question number 2. 1 minus 5C2 by 12C2. Now if you want, you can simplify this further. So 5C2 is 10 and 12C2, let's calculate. It will be 12 into 11 divided by 2. So this will become 66. This will be 1 minus 10 over 66. So your answer is 56 by 66. And you can simplify this further, which will come out to be 28 divided by 33. Which will be 28 divided by 33. Which will be 28 divided by 33. Now for the second one, the question that I gave you, so that to understand the difference, when it says the none of the socks selected are red, so you want none of them to be red. You want none of them to be red. So you will select socks only from green and white. So that's like 7C2 divided by 12C2. So 7C2 is 21 divided by 66. Or you can write 7 by, this will be 22. It will be 7 by 22. Alright, so answer to this one is basically 7 divided by 22. Okay. Now, just on a lighter note, once I was solving this question in my class, and one of my students told me that so when you write 1 minus 5C2 by 12C2, you can take LCM as 12C2 and you can rewrite this as 12C2 minus 5C2 divided by 12C2. So won't that also be equal to like 7C2? Like you can take C2 common and you can write 7C2 by 12C2. So no, this is not how PNC happens. Okay, this is not how it works. 12C2 minus 5C2 is not 7C2. Please remember that. Okay, it may happen that some of us may have these doubts, no doubt in that. Okay, so it doesn't happen this way. You'll have to calculate 12C2, you'll have to calculate 5C2, and then you'll have to find out your answer. Okay, more than maths, when you write CNP, it's more about concept. When you say 12C2, that's like selecting two things out of 12, and when you write 5C2, that means selecting two things out of 5. It's more like a concept and less like your maths. Okay, that's where the difference is. Anyways, let's move on. Alright, so pause the video and try this question, please. Alright, let's see what we can do with this one. Two fair dice are thrown. What is the probability that the outcome will either total 7 or include a 3? Two fair dice are thrown. What is the probability that the outcome will either total 7 or include a 3? So your outcome should include a 3 or total should be 7. Okay. So let's first figure out the total number of cases. It's quite simple. So nothing is mentioned, so we're going to consider it to be a 6-sided dice. So that will give me a total cases of 36. That will give me a total cases of 36. So I'm looking for a sum of 7. So 7 will be 1 6, 6 1, 2 5, 5 2, 3 4, 4 3. Okay, this is gonna give me like total of 7. And it says include a 3. So for including 3, I can have 1 3. I can have the opposite 3 1. I can have 2 3. Then I can have the opposite also. So I'm gonna simply like multiply this by 2 rather than writing it again and again. Then I can have 1 3 3. This will be only once. Okay, 3 3 will only come once. Then you're gonna have 4 3, 3 4. Then 5 3, 3 5, 6 3, 3 6. So basically you're gonna have like 2 4 5 5 and 6 11 cases. You're gonna have a total of 11 cases. Okay, I'm writing this as include 3. So include 3, this is gonna give me like 11 cases, and total of 7 are giving me like 1 2 3 4 5 6 cases. Now let's read the question carefully. It says that will either total 7 or include 3. Either total 7 or include 3. So you want either 7 or 3. Okay, you don't want both, which means this goes out, this goes out, then these two also goes out, because these four are the cases when the sum is also 7 and it includes a 3 also. Sum is 7 and there is a 3. Sum is 7 and there is a 3. Okay, so now let's simply count the cases. So 6 minus 2 is going to give you like 4 cases. 11 minus 2 is going to give you like 9 cases. You're going to have a total of 13 cases where the sum will be either 7 or there is a 3 in the outcome. So it's going to be 13 divided by 36, and that's your answer. It's going to be 13 divided by 36. That will be your answer. Like if the question was, what is the probability that the outcome will sum to 7 and include a 3 in that case, please don't write 4 by 36. Don't write 4 by 36. In that case, write 2 by 36 because 3, 4 and 4, 3 are the only outcomes. Don't count an outcome twice. Don't count an outcome twice. Okay. If the question was outcome will either total 7 and include a 3, outcome, not either, outcome will total 7 and include a 3. So your answer will simply become 2 by 36. Your answer will simply become 2 by 36, which is 1 by 18. Okay. If in case the question was what is the probability that the outcome will either total 7 or include a 3 or both, either total 7 or include a 3 or both, in that case you can say that your answer will become 15 by 36. In that case your answer will become 15 by 36. 13 the same cases, and you're gonna add these two cases also, that is 3,4 and 4,3. Again, don't count them twice. Again, don't count them twice. Okay. All right, so this was about this question. Let's move on. All right, pause the video and try this one. All right, let's see what we can do with this one. So box A has 10 green balls and 8 black balls. Box B has 9 green balls and 5 black balls. What is the probability if one ball is drawn from each box that both the balls are green? So what I basically want is, I want one green ball from box 1 and one green ball from box 2. I want a green ball from box 1 and a green ball from box 2. I hope you remember and from permutation and combination, and used to stand for multiplication. If I want one green ball from box 1, so that will simply become 10 divided by 18, because I have 10 favorable cases, 10 green balls and a total of 18 balls, it will be simply 10 by 18. And a green ball from box 2, so that will be 9 divided by 14. Again, favorable cases are 9, total number of cases are 14. So this will become 2 and this will become 5, and your answer is simply 5 by 14. Your answer is simply 5 divided by 14, and that's your answer to this question. All right, so let's move on. This was another easy question. Let's move on to next one. So try this question, please. This is like, let me just make this more clear. This is like A into B. Okay, this is not A x B, this is A into B. So probability that A into B is greater than 58. Okay, that is what you need to figure out. Try this one. All right, so I want the product to be greater than 58. All right, so I'm selecting A from 3, 8, 3, 11, 18 and 22, and B from 4, 8, 16, 32, 64 and 128. So if I want to figure out the total number of cases, that will simply be equal to 4C1 into 6C1, which will simply be equal to 24. Okay, now I'll have to like check it mechanically for each and every case, in which case my product will be greater than 58. Okay, I'll have to do that. So let's start with 3. So 3 into 4 will give me 12. 3 into 8 is gonna give me like 24, not possible. 3 into 16 is gonna give me 48, not possible. But 3 into 32 will give me 96, and 64 will automatically give me 3 into 64, and 3 into 128 will automatically give me a product greater than 58. So I have 3 cases with 3. Again, next is 11. 11 and 4 will give me 44, not possible. But 11 with 8, with 16, with 32, with 64, with 128, all of them are going to give me a product which is greater than 58. So that's 5 cases. Now 18 multiplied with any of the 6 numbers, that is 4, 8, 16, 32, 64, 128, is going to give me a product greater than 58. And same thing I can say for 22 also. So the total number of cases are 6 and 6, 12. 12 and 8 is 20. So that is 20. So favorable cases are 20. Total number of cases are 24. So your answer is simply 5 by 6. Your answer is simply 5 by 6 in the simplified form. So probability that product will be greater than 58 if you choose a number from A and a number from B will be 5 by 6. And that's your answer. Alright, try this one, the 6th one. Okay, there are 4 aces in a standard deck of playing cards. What is the approximate probability of drawing 2 consecutive aces from a standard deck of 52 playing cards? Now understand, in this case, they have not mentioned that a replacement is there, which means you're going to go with the flow. That is, if the card is out, then it's out. If the card is out, then it's out. Okay. So for the first ace, the probability will be 4c1 by 52c1, or you can write 4 by 52, because you have 4 options, or you have 4 favorable outcomes, and you have 52 total number of outcomes. Because you are selecting one card, it will simply be 4 by 52, which will be 1 by 30. If we talk about the second ace, now one card is out, an ace is out, which leaves you with like 3 aces, and which leaves you with like 51 playing cards, and which leaves you with 51 playing cards. So it will become 3c1 divided by 51c1, or you can write 3 by 51. So I think this will become 1 by 17 if I'm not wrong. So you want an ace in the first go, you want an ace in the second go. So it will be 1 by 13 into 1 by 70. So that's 170 and 51. So 1, this will become 12 to 1 by 221. That will be your answer. 1 by 221. So as of now, we're like dealing with easy questions so that you can like understand the concept, like whatever we have done in the basics of the videos, and like you can implement that in the questions. Okay, like in the upcoming questions, you'll find that the questions will automatically become difficult and difficult. Okay, all right, let's move on then. So draw this question number 7, please. Pause the video and draw this one. All right, so 11-sided fair die. So see, in this case, in this question, they have mentioned that it's 11-sided fair die. Okay, if it is what it if it was not mentioned, then it would have been like a 6-sided fair die. Okay, 11-sided fair die which has its face number from 2 to 12. So you're gonna have like numbers like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 and 12. Let's check. There are 11 numbers only. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, so there are 11 numbers. Is to be rolled twice. What is the probability that a factor of 6 shows up in the first attempt? You want a factor of 6. So how many factors of 6 we have? We have 1, 2, 3 and 6. So we basically have 4 factors. Okay, so the probability, if you want a factor of 6 in the first attempt, will simply become 4 divided by 11. 4 favorable cases, total number of cases is 11, so it will basically become 4 by 11. What is the probability that a factor of 6 shows up in the first attempt and a non-prime number shows up in the second attempt? It says non-prime. Okay, non-prime. So let's see how many numbers are non-prime. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. So 6 numbers are like non-prime. The 6 numbers which I have encircled, these are like non-primes. I hope everyone understand the meaning of the term prime. Prime number is any positive integer which has only two factors, one and the number itself. Okay, and non-prime is like numbers which are not prime basically, and one is neither prime nor composite. So for this case, the probability of a non-prime number will basically become 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, that is 6 by 11. So you want factor of 6 in the first attempt and a non-prime in the second attempt. So when you say and, it stands for multiplication. It will be 4 by 11 into 6 by 11, which will be equal to 24 divided by 121, which will be 24 divided by 121, and that will be your answer. Alright, let's move on to question number 8. Alright, pause the video and try this question yourself, please. This is an interesting question. Alright, let's see what we can do with this one. If two integers are randomly selected from a given list of numbers, what is the probability that the product of two integers selected will be prime? So again, we have a question which is like based on probability and number system. The previous one also had this prime. Again, we had this question which is based on prime. Now this is not a question of probability. This is a question which tests your skills regarding whether you know how to form a prime number or not. That's what this question is all about. Okay. So if you want a number to be prime, you want a number to have only two factors. You want a number to have only two factors, one in the number itself. Also remember that whenever you talk about prime numbers, the concept of prime number is only applicable for positive integers. When I'll be making video on this topic, number system, so I'm going to explain you everything in detail, like prime, composite, odd, even, how they are defined. So as of now, just remember that prime numbers is a concept that is only applicable for positive integers, and it has only two factors, one and the number itself. One and the number itself. It cannot have any other factor. Okay, there are only two factors, one and the number itself, that's it. Alright, so let's start. Okay, first of all, let's figure out the total number of cases, because I feel that would be the easiest thing to do. If I want to calculate the total number of cases, so how many numbers we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So that will simply become 11C2, because I want to select two numbers from 11 numbers, so that will simply become 11C2. Now I want a prime number. Alright, so let's see what we can do. Let's form the cases. I'm gonna write cases here. So 1 into 2 will give me prime. 1 into 3 will also give me prime. 1 into 17 will also give me prime. 1 into 22 will not give me prime, because 22 has other factors apart from 22. It has 2, it has 11 also. 17 has only 17. 3 is 1 and 3, and 2 is only 1 and 2. Okay. So these are the total possible cases from the positive side, because yeah, you can't multiply 2 with 3, because if you're going to multiply 2 and 3, it will become 6. 6 is going to have like 4 factors. You can't multiply 2 and 17, because it will become 34, again 4 factors. You can't multiply 3 and 17, 51, 51 again has 4 factors. So basically the point is one of the numbers has to be 1. If you talk about the positive side. If you talk about the positive side, then one of the numbers has to be 1. Now let's come to the negative side. Now it says that the product has to be prime. It says that the product has to be prime. So if I go on the negative case, I can take -1 into -3 also. Because -1 into -3 will again give me 3, which is a prime number and it's a positive number also. So I'm satisfying the definition. Then I can have -1 into -5 also. Then I can have -1 into -11 also. I can't do -3 into -4 because that will give me 12. I can't do -3 into -5, that will give me 15. I can't do -3 into -11, that will give me 33. These things are not possible. So these are the only applicable cases. So you're gonna have a total of 6 favorable cases divided by 11C2. So that will basically be equal to 55. Let me just verify that once. 11 into 10 divided by 2. Yeah, so it will be 6 by 55 and that will be your answer. So if you're looking for a product to be prime, that will simply be 6 divided by 55 and that's your answer. Alright, let's move on. So pause the video and try this question yourself, please. Alright, so it says that if an integer is selected from all positive 4-digit integers, what is the probability that the integer selected contains both 0 and 9? What is the probability that the integer selected contains both 0 and 9? So again, a question which will need help of PNC and probability also. Okay. So first thing we need to figure out is we need to figure out the total number of cases, or we need to figure out total 4-digit integers. So in order to form a 4-digit integer, you will be requiring 4 dashes, 1, 2, 3 and 4. Now at every dash, when you talk about digits, you basically have only 10 digits, 0 to 9. Okay. At every place, whether it's a 4-digit number, 5-digit number, 6-digit, 7-digit, 2-digit, 3-digit. When you talk about individual dashes, you can have only numbers or you can only have digits from 0 to 9. There is no 11th digit available to us. We only, for every individual place, whether you talk about unit digit, 10th digit, 100th digit, 1000th digit, 10,000 digit, you only have 10 digits available, that is from 0 to 9. There is no 11th digit available to us. Okay, there is no 11th digit available to us. Now at the first place you can't have 0. Again, a concept which we discussed in PNC. You can't have 0 in the first place, for the very fact that if you're going to use 0 at the first place, then it will no more be a 4-digit number, it will become a 3-digit number. So you can have digits from 1 to 9, that will give you a total of 9 number of cases. That will give you a total of 9 number of cases. For second, third and fourth place, you can have digits from 0 to 9. You can have digits from 0 to 9. That will give you 10 number of cases. Another thing which I must have told you when we were discussing this in PNC, that is, if it is not given to you that the digits can't be repeated or numbers can't be repeated, so you will take repetition into consideration. You will take repetition into consideration for the very fact that when you talk about a 3-digit number or a 4-digit number, let's talk about a 4-digit number. 4499, it's a valid 4-digit number. It is a valid 4-digit number, and in this case 4 is repeating as well as 9 is also repeating. In this case 4 is repeating as well as 9 is also repeating. Okay, so repetition is allowed because it's a valid number. Okay, anyways, So the point is basically you're gonna have a total of 9 into 10 into 10 into 10. That will give you a total of 9,000 cases. That will give you a total of 9,000 cases. All right. Okay. So now the question is, what is the probability that the integer selected contains both 0 and 9? I want both 0 and 9. So what I'm going to do is I'll have to form the cases. Okay. So I'll have to form all the cases where we can have 0 and 9. So let's see what all can we do. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4 blanks. I can have 9 at the first position, 0 at the second. I can have 9 at the first position, 0 at third. I can have 9 at the first position, 0 at fourth. Okay. Then I can have 9 at second position, 0 at third. I can have 9 at second position, 0 at fourth. I can have 9 at third position and 0 at last position. Now for the first three cases, I cannot take the reverse case. I cannot take the reverse case. I cannot take the reverse case. The reason is that because 0 cannot come at the first place. If 0 comes at the first place, then it will no more be a 4-digit number. It will no more be a 4-digit number. Because if you write something as 0917, then it's 917. It's not 0917. It becomes a 3-digit number basically. But for these three cases, I can take the reverse case. Can take the reverse case. I can take the reverse case. Okay, I can take the reverse case. For the first three, I cannot take, but for the next three, I can take the reverse case. Okay, all right. So let's see what we can do. Now, if 9 is at the first position, 0 is at the second position, nothing is mentioned about repetition, so I can take any 10 digits here and any 10 digits here. So this will give me a total of like 100 cases. 1 into 1 into 10 into 10, that's 100 cases. And same thing will be for second case, same thing will be for third case. For the remaining three cases, I'm gonna again have 10. I'm gonna again have, okay, now in this case, now for the remaining three cases, this becomes interesting. Understand, for the remaining three cases, I was about to miss that point. So let me draw the 4 dashes. 1, 2, 3 and 4. 1, 2, 3 and 4. 1, 2, 3 and 4. Now understand, at these places you cannot have 0. Again, I was about to miss that point when I was writing 10 into 10. You can't have 0. You can't have 0, which means only 9 possibilities for these blank. Only 9 possibilities for these blank, and for the remaining one blank you can have 10 possibilities. So then it's not a problem. So this will give you 90 cases, and you'll be multiplying all these by 2. So basically it will become 100, 100, 100, that's 300, plus 2 into 270, plus 2 into 270. So that's 300 plus 540, which will be equal to 840 cases. Which will be equal to 840 cases. And that's your answer to this question. Okay, that's basically the number of cases. In order to calculate the probability, it will be 840 by 9,000. So the point basically here is that in this question, I had to make all the cases. Like, there is no shortcut for me. If you're thinking about solving this question as, okay, why can't I do it this way? That probability of selecting an integer which contains both 0 and 9, can I calculate as 1 minus probability of selecting none of 0 and 9? Can I do it this way? So if you're thinking it in this way, then it's incorrect, guys. It's incorrect. Remember that it is incorrect, because when you say none of 0 and 9, then none of 0 and 9 also will give you the cases where you can have 1 0 and 1 9, like only 0 or only 9 is also available. It's going to give you those cases also. Alright, so the final answer basically becomes 840 by 9000, which I can also write like 42 by 450. I can simplify this further. I can take a 3 common, so this will become 42, sorry, 42 not 14 divided by 150, which can also be simplified further as 7 divided by 75. That will be the answer, final answer to this question. Alright, let's try one more question for this video. So pause the video and try this question yourself, please. Alright, let's see what we can do with this one. So John works at an office where the work timing is from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. 50% of a year he goes late to office. Okay, so probability that he goes late is 15%, or let me write that as 0.15. So probability he doesn't go late will be 1 minus 0.15, which will basically become 0.85. Moving on, it says that 12% of a year he leaves early from the office. So probability he leaves early will be 0.12. So probability he doesn't leave early will basically become 0. Or let me write this as 1 minus 0.12, 1 minus 0.12, which is like 0.88. Okay, what's the question now? If A is the probability that he works at office during the working hours, that basically means he neither comes early, sorry, he neither comes late and he neither leaves early. He neither comes late and he doesn't leave early. So basically he is working from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. that he's working in his respective time. So I want this, he doesn't go late, and I want this, that he doesn't leave early. I want both of them. So I'm going to multiply. So this will simply become 0.85 multiplied by 0.88. So 0.85 into 0.88 will give you 0.748, or approximately you can say 0.75. So the probability he works during the office hours is 0.75. That's 75% basically. That's 75% or 74.8%, whichever of the two is given to you in the option. If both are given, then go for 74.8. Okay, so I guess let's keep it till here for this video. Okay, I have like approximately 10 more questions to go for this chapter, which will like basically cover up your all the basics, like whatever we have discussed. You'll be able to understand how to solve a typical question of probability. Alright guys, so please subscribe to the channel for more videos and exam related content. Do like the video, do share it with your friends also. And if you're looking for personalized classes or individual classes, you can connect me with on mail, or you can also connect me on WhatsApp also. Alright guys, so thank you so much guys. Keep watching and keep learning. Thank you so much.